Welcome, Marie. So glad you're joining us. We're going to get started in just another minute or two. A little bit about tonight's class. So tonight's class will be a yoga foundation level class. And a reminder, in yoga foundation, we focus on alignment, form, most importantly, moving with your breath. So what that means is that you really focus on your breathing throughout your practice this evening, and I will remind you all throughout class. So no worries there. And as long as your breathing is deep and full, you're good to move to a next stage or option I may offer. If at any point you find that your breathing is not smooth, deep, and full, I would encourage you to stay at the stage you are, or maybe even come back just a little bit until you're able to come to a deep and full breath, and then move forward from there. And this is a great class to practice that. So for those of you in our beautiful school, you may notice Dee, I believe she's sitting under me at the teacher's box. And as we set up this class and talked about it, intention of me leading, I'm in Ohio, if not all of you are familiar, and I have been studying with Rasa Yoga School. I meant to look it up before I got online and I didn't, but I think it was 2013 when I first came. So I've been studying with Padma and all the teachers there since then, and been teaching up here since I moved. But we knew that when I led a class virtually, we would still need someone to be like my hands and eyes, maybe if you would, on the ground. And so Dee is here tonight. Thank you so much, assisting me in that way. And she will be walking around during class like you see some teachers do when you attend classes at Rasa Yoga. She may offer some sort of assist if she sees needed. So just so you're aware of Dee's role in class tonight and why she's at the front of the room and not on her mat. And I'm grateful for that support and assist this evening, and grateful for all of you. As you settle in, let yourself fully arrive into this space. Feel your sit bones connected with the ground, and begin to build from the ground up as you lengthen your spine, relaxing the tops of your shoulders. Let your palms face up on your knees. And if you haven't already, close your eyes. Do you notice any distractions around you? So let them move by like clouds in the sky, and then draw your attention in towards your breathing, noticing quality of your breath. Perhaps it's possible to deepen and lengthen your breathing just a little bit more. So you continue to feel a lift from low belly, relaxing the tops of your shoulders. You can keep your eyes closed or softly open them. As you inhale, interlace your hands in front of you, lifting from low belly, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinging at elbows, bring palms behind your head. Feel your shoulders relaxing. As you inhale, hands rise, exhaling, lowering back down. Connecting this movement with your breath. You'll inhale, move, and exhale, move. Once again, inhale, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinging at elbows, palms to the back of your head. Inhale, hands rise, and then lowering back down. If you're familiar with the practice of Ujjayi breathing, you can take one more full cycle. Please connect with that practice now, the sound of ha made with your mouth closed. And if you're not familiar, just come right back to your breathing. Making this your last cycle, hands return back to where you started. Feel your spine lengthen as you inhale. Exhaling, place your fingertips in front of you on the mat. Inhale, exhaling, gently walk hands forward, a small forward fold. Let your gaze be lifted even as you fold forward a little bit. Chin draws in so there's length in the back of your neck. Hello, Paulo. I'm glad you're here to join us. Inhaling, walk hands back. Feel your spine long, drawing in towards center. Inhale, lengthen. You might switch the cross of your legs. So whatever leg is in front, please place that behind. Even this movement is mindful. So you inhale, move, exhale, move. Lengthening your spine, exhaling again, walk hands forward. Let this forward fold be a little soft as it's our first of class. Breathing in silently to yourself, exhaling, silently say to yourself, breathing out. As you inhale, draw up from low belly, come back up, and mindfully moving your hips to either side of your, or you're moving your feet rather, to either side of your hips. We'll make our way into all fours with the crown of your head facing up towards the top of your mat. As you arrive in all fours, build from the ground up, spread your palms wide, press down through shins and tops of your feet. A gentle scooping of tailbone to feel your low back drawing in towards your spine. Inhale, round between your shoulder blades. Exhaling, let hips move back in the direction of your heels. Inhale, draw back up to all fours, moving with your breath, rounding between your shoulder blades. Exhaling, hips move back in the direction of your heels. Following your breath, we'll meet back up in all fours. Inhaling, exhale, turn toes, downward facing dog. Allow your sit bones to move back behind you, lengthening along the back side of your body. Notice your neck and shoulders. Let your head be heavy as you draw the upper arms in towards shoulders, a little bit more, creating stability. Feel your sit bones drawing back towards the back wall behind you. Inhale, come high to toes. Exhaling, stepping to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Allow your knees to bend, maybe even a little more than you normally do. Your head is heavy. Do you inhale, feel a lengthening along your spine. Exhaling, letting go. Bringing your attention right to your low belly. Begin to lift, lead with your heart, arms sweeping up and overhead. Exhaling, hands to your sides, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Notice your feet connected to the ground. So you feel a gentle drawing in towards midline. Scoop tailbone, gaze lifted. Inhale, take arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinging at your hips, folding forward. Soften knees. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhaling, step the right foot back into a high lunge. Lowering to knee and top of back foot. Draw the femurs in towards hips. Notice if that increases the stability in your low body, perhaps a little bit more. As you lift from low belly, inhale, arms sweep up and overhead, palms together. Exhaling, hinging at elbows. Bring fingertips towards your upper spine. Inhale, hands rise. Exhaling, lowering down to your low lunge. Again, bring attention to the stability of your low body, drawing in towards center, thigh bones moving in towards hips. Turn back toe, lift knee, exhaling back into plank or push-up position. Here, notice length along the spine and energy out through the soles of your feet. Inhale, lower knees to the mat. Exhaling, coming down to your belly for Cobra, Bhujangasana. You inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean back into your back body. Heart lifts. Inhale, turn toes. Exhaling, press back and up into downward facing dog. Draw your attention into your breathing. Reminder here to inhale, move, and exhale, move. Draw thigh bones in towards center, coming high to toes. The right foot will come up into a high lunge. As you build your high lunge from the ground up, notice how you draw in towards center. Can you become even more stable in your high lunge? Lowering to knee and top of back foot. Keep that same strength and stability as you lower. Inhale, lift from low belly, arms sweep up and overhead, palms together. Exhaling, hinging at elbows. Notice the tops of your shoulders relax. Inhale, hands rise. Exhaling, lowering down. Draw back on the front thigh as you hinge. Return to your low lunge. Turning back toe, lift knee. Exhale, back into plank. Feel energy out through the soles of your feet, long line from crown of head out through your feet. Inhale, lower knees down to the mat, coming all the way to your belly for cobra. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, a lift from low belly. Inhaling, turn toes, pressing back through all fours, up, downward facing dog. Become aware of the quality of your breath. And in downward facing dog, could you deepen and lengthen your breath a little bit more, saying to yourself silently, breathing in as you inhale, and say to yourself silently, breathing out as you exhale. Feel a drawing in towards center as you come high to toes. Help the left foot up into a high lunge, building from the ground up. Notice weight even between the front and back foot. Draw femurs in towards hips and then ground through the sole of the back foot, bringing back foot down to the mat. Inhale, lift from low belly, torso rises, arms sweep up and overhead, fingertips towards the sky for warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. As your gaze is steady and lifted, bring your attention right back to the soles of your feet. Notice the strength and stability in this posture. Drawing in towards center, thigh bones in towards hips, exhaling, palms together down the center line, either side of front foot. Mindfully pivot to the toes of your back foot. Inhale, exhaling, left foot back to downward facing dog. Inhale, high to toes, lightly lower your knees down to the mat as you build your all fours. Notice a gentle scooping of your tailbone. Support low back and create a strength along the entire length of your spine. Shifting weight slightly to the right, exhaling, extend left leg back behind you, hip level. Notice that the leg is strong. And even as you extend out, can you draw the femur in towards center a little more, increasing strength and stability in your low body? Coming right back to your breathing as you lean into your spine, breathing in, breathing out. Exhaling, lowering left knee down. Notice your foundation, even between hands, shins, tops of feet. As you scoop tailbone, shifting slightly, extend right leg back behind you, hip level. Moving with your breath. Inhale, move, and exhale, move. And notice the strength of the back leg. And if you find this challenging in any way, just notice that and come right back to your breath. Saying to yourself, breathing in, breathing out. Exhaling, lower that back down. Turning toes, exhaling back and up into downward facing dog. Allow your sit bones to draw back behind you. Lengthening your spine and your breath. Inhale, come high to toes, right foot steps up into a high lunge. And if it doesn't come all the way up on its own, feel free to assist your foot forward and then rebuild your high lunge from the ground up. Thigh bones draw in, exhaling, ground through the sole of the back foot. Lifting from low belly, arms sweep up and overhead, fingertips towards the sky, build warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1 from the ground up. Your gaze is lifted. As you draw thighs in towards center a little more, scooping tailbone, do you feel a little more stable in your low body? This pose is great for strengthening stability. You may also notice the focus and concentration that it takes. Breathing in, lengthening your spine, exhaling, hinging at front hip, palms together down the center line, toes of back foot, step back to downward facing dog. Staying with your breathing, inhale high to toes, step or walk up to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Let your head be heavy, softening knees. You might reach for your elbows if you like to give a little more traction along your spine, or let fingertips rest towards the mat. And if you find that you tend to hold tension in neck and shoulders, it's sometimes really nice in a forward fold to gently shake your head a little yes. Gently shake your head no. Just mindful, gentle movements, encouraging that space where we tend to hold tension and tightness to relax. If you have hold of elbows, please return fingertips to the mat. Draw inner thighs in towards midline. Lift from low belly. Lead with your heart. Torso rises, returning to Tadasana at the top of your mat. Gaze lifted. Notice the strength of your low body. And coming right back to the practice of naming your breath. Can you say to yourself silently, breathing in as you inhale, and say to yourself silently, breathing out as you exhale. Bringing hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen spine, bending at knees, sit hips back. Utkatasana, powerful pose. Allow your sit bones to move back, sitting deeply. Draw thighs in towards midline. Create a lot of stability in the low body. Breathing in and breathing out as you build stability and strength, drawing in towards center. Perhaps you find you can sit just a little bit deeper, but a reminder here, your breathing is going to guide you into the stage that's right for you. So staying with a deep and full breath. Exhaling, press through the soles of your feet. Come right back up into standing, hands at your sides, Tadasana. Bring your hands to your hips. As you inhale, exhaling, take a wide quarter turn to the left. Right toes pointing to the top of the mat, left toes towards the long edge, towards the double doors. Notice weight distribution on the soles of your feet. Inhale, extending arms up shoulder level, palms facing down. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhaling, hinging at front hip. Lower bottom arm, top arm sweeps up and overhead for triangle. Utthita Trikonasana. Draw the femurs in towards center. Create stability and strength. And from that place, you might find a little more lightness. And if you don't, that's okay as well, but just notice. And then come back to your breathing. Breathing in. And breathing out. As you draw in towards center, lift from low belly, inhaling back up. Torso rises, exhaling, hands to hips. Pivot the right toes in so feet are parallel. Inhale, exhaling, left toes to the back of your mat. Arms sweeping up and shoulder level, palms facing down. Feel the tops of your shoulders relax. Inhale, lengthen, exhaling, hinging at left hip, lower bottom arm exhaling, top arm sweeps up and overhead, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. Another pose that's great for low body strength and stability and range of motion. You might also notice here an element of concentration and focus as you bring your attention back to your breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out, lift from low belly, torso rises, hands to hips. Pivot left toes in so feet are parallel. Lengthening your spine, exhaling, hinging, start to fold forward. Take a few breath cycles to come all the way forward into your forward fold. Eventually, fingertips will come down to the mat. Allow your head to hang heavy. And this is another great place to maybe gently shake your head a little yes and no, encouraging that to let go. As you build from the ground up, I see some beautiful bends in the back of knees for those of you I can observe. So great work keeping the softness, allowing some space in the back of your legs. Breathing in. Breathing out, draw femurs in towards center, hands to hips. From that low body stability, create a lift from low belly to heart center. Torso rises, crown of head towards the sky. Noticing your breathing, inhale, pivot right toes to the top of the mat, exhaling, come to the toes of your back foot as you square your hips, high lunge. Inhale, exhale, press off of back toes up into standing, the top of your mat. We'll meet there in Tadasana. Please bring your hands to the space of your low belly, softly closing your eyes. Just notice how connected you are with the practice of naming your breath, and either refresh or restart that practice now. saying to yourself silently, breathing in, breathing out, opening eyes, gaze lifted, hands to hips, lengthening spine, exhaling, sitting hips back, bending at knees, Utkatasana, powerful pose. As you sit the sit bones back a little bit more, almost like you're reaching back into a chair, and feel a lift from low belly to heart center. Noticing your breathing, arms sweeping up and overhead as long as your breath is deep and full. Otherwise, I would encourage you to return hands to your hips until you have that deep and full breath. And then exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward, unbend knees slightly, but please still keep a micro bend in your knees, fingertips to mat. As you lengthen your spine, step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, move, exhale, move. As you come high to toes, lightly lower your knees to the mat, all fours. Palms spread wide. Feel shins and tops of your feet connecting or moving down towards the mat to create a little more stability and strength. So you shift weight slightly to the left, exhaling, extend right leg back behind you, hip level. Just notice if there's any tendency for your hips to open slightly to the sky. Keep them squared towards the mat as you scoop tailbone. Back leg is strong. Inhale, exhaling, lowering toes to the mat. Keep the back leg as strong as when it was lifted. Staying with your breath. Next stage, opening on the left hip, right hand to right hip. Come to the inside of your right foot. As you inhale, lengthen spine. Notice a lift from inner thighs, especially on the supporting leg, creating a little more stability. Breathing in and breathing out. On your exhale, unwinding, return mindfully back to all fours. Round between your shoulder blades and exhale, lengthen from low belly to heart center. For cat's breath vinyasa, this is a great place to come back to your breathing. Inhale, round between shoulder blades. Exhale, lengthen from low belly to heart center. Inhale, move. Exhale, move. One more time. We'll meet in a neutral all fours. Feel your spine long. The shins, tops of the feet, move down to the ground. Draw inner thighs in. Create a lot of stability in the low body. Shifting weight, extend your left leg back behind you, hip level. Lifting from low belly, notice the back leg strong. Hips square towards the mat, breathing in, lengthening, exhaling, lowering left toes down to the mat, keeping the leg just as strong as when it was extended. You can stay here, following breath. Next stage, left hand to left hip. Open on the right hip. Lift up through inner thigh. As you exhale, come to the inside of the left foot for a variation on Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Another posture that's great for low body strengthening and stability, helping to ground you. Connect with your breathing. Remember, the most important part of your practice is your breathing tonight. If you opened up, exhaling, unwind. We'll meet back in all fours, round between your shoulder blades. Exhale, lengthen from low belly to heart center. Notice movement along your spine. Inhale, round. Exhaling, opening from low belly to heart center. Keep your low back supported. So even as you lengthen the spine, notice a gentle scooping of your tailbone. We'll meet back in a neutral all fours. Inhale, turn toes, exhaling back and up into downward facing dog. Keeping your attention. The quality of your breath. Come high to toes, exhaling, step walk up to the top of your mat, forward fold. Please now allow a bend in your knees. With each inhale, think about your spine lengthening, or imagine if you could create a lengthened space along your spine, head heavy in your forward fold. Breathing in, exhaling, letting go of anything tugging at your awareness. And use your breathing to keep you very present and right here. Draw in towards center and low body. Lift, lead with your heart, coming all the way up into standing. We'll meet in Tadasana at the top of your mat. As you build here, gaze lifted. Notice the stability. Strengthen your legs as you draw in towards center. Little softness in your knees, even in standing in Tadasana. Inhale, bring hands to your hips. Shifting weight to the left, bend the right knee, thigh comes parallel. Draw the femur in a little bit more. Feel the lift initiate from the low belly. Relaxing tops of shoulders. Notice any distractions and come right back to your breathing. Say to yourself silently, breathing in, breathing out. Returning right foot to the mat as you exhale. Pause for a breath cycle in the middle. Notice how your body feels. Draw in towards center, in towards midline, lower body. And then inhale, shifting weight. Left leg bends, thigh comes parallel. Feel the lift initiate. This thigh bone draws in from low belly. Shoulders relaxed. Gaze steady, soft, no matter what happens. In this balanced posture, are you able to stay with your breathing? Breathing in, breathing out, lowering left foot down to the mat, Tadasana, mountain pose. Your gaze is lifted, hands can stay at your hips, exhaling, sitting sit bones back, bend at your knees, Utkatasana, powerful pose. Can you sit a little deeper maybe than the last time we did this as you draw your femurs in? But even as I offer you a next stage or option, notice the quality of your breathing. It's really going to guide you to where's right for you. So as long as you're breathing deeply and fully, you can experiment with sitting hips back a little bit more. Or maybe you come up if you notice that you're holding your breath. Breathing in. And breathing out, pressing through the soles of your feet. Come up into standing, hands are at your sides. Tadasana, notice how you feel. You draw your attention to your low belly, bringing hands to your hips, shifting weight to your left, exhaling wide quarter turn to the right towards the window. So left toes are to the top of your mat, right toes towards long edge. You'll want your feet about 3.5, 4 feet wide. Inhale, exhaling, hinging at the hip, bend the left knee, coming into warrior two, arms extend up shoulder level, palms facing down. If you need more space or would like to go more deeply, a reminder you can pivot on the right heel and toe to take a slightly wider stance. You can move as deep into this warrior posture, great for strengthening the low body, as long as your breath is deep and full. Gaze out over left fingertips, soft and steady. Breathe in, lengthen your spine, exhaling, hinging at the left hip. Bring left forearm to thigh, right arm sweeps up and overhead for extended side angle, Utthita Parsva Konasana. If you bring your elbow or your forearm rather to your thigh, stay light as you lean back into your back body. Drawing left femur in towards hip, especially a little bit more. Do you notice an increased stability in your low body? Being low body exactly where it is. Inhale, draw up from low belly back to warrior two. Gaze steady, strong. And then hands to your hips. Unbend left knee, pivot left toes in, feet are parallel. Notice the weight distribution on the soles of your feet, even all four corners, big toe mound, little toe mound, the back two corners of your heels. As you inhale, exhaling, take your right toes to the back of your mat. Draw femurs in, inhale, lengthen, exhaling, hinging at right hip, bend right knee, tracking over your second toe, extend arms up shoulder level, palms facing down, softening the tops of your shoulders. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Any stage. If your breathing is deep and full and you'd like to go a little more deeply, you can bend the knee, thigh moves towards parallel as you give yourself a little more space by moving the back foot back. Again, your breath will guide you there. Inhale, lengthen as you hinge at the right hip, draw the femur in, right forearm to thigh, top arm sweeps up and overhead, extended side angle, Utthita Parsvottanasana. Staying with your breath. I can see everyone in the room, and I'm sure all of you at home are doing a great job in moving with your breathing and not necessarily my cues. Breathing in, lengthening spine, draw the femurs in, lower body stable, draw up from low belly, back to warrior two. Relaxing shoulders. Strengthen your low body, hands to hips, unbend right knee. Pivoting on your heels, so feet are parallel. Inhale, lengthening, exhaling, hinging, folding forward. Take a few breath cycles to take this wide-legged forward fold. Please soften in your knees. Can even be quite a significant bend. Notice if your weight shifts back into your heels. Drop forward just a little bit. So again, you're even on all four corners of your feet. A gentle shake of your head, yes, and no here. Imagine anything that's distracting you, pulling your attention away from this moment could roll right off your back. Let go with each exhale. Build from the ground up. Lift and spread toes. Draw femurs in towards center. Inhale, hands to hips. Lifting from low belly. Exhaling, leading with your heart. Crown of head returns towards the sky. Inhale, pivot left toes to the top of the mat. Come to toes of back foot as you square your hips to the top of your mat. High lunge. Inhale, exhaling. Press off of back toes up into standing at the top of your mat. We'll bring our hands to your low belly. Softly close your eyes, but keep your gaze lifted behind your closed eyes. Notice the quality of your breathing. And whether you've liked or not liked, been distracted or focused in class today, just let all that go and use your breathing to draw you right here. Say to yourself silently, breathing in as you inhale, and say to yourself silently, breathing out as you exhale. Deepening, lengthening your breath. As you open eyes, let your hands come to your hips. Lengthening spine, exhaling, sitting hips back, bending at knees, Utkatasana, powerful pose. Staying with your breath. Can you move even more deeply this time? And for you tonight, more deeply may mean not going hips lower. It may mean staying with your breath even more. So honoring your stage, wherever that is, breathing in, breathing out. Press through the soles of your feet, come up into standing, relax the shoulders, hands are at your sides. Inhaling, bring hands to your hips, gaze lifted. Do you draw in towards center line and low body a little more? Do you notice an increase in your stability in the low body? Shifting weight to your left, exhaling, bend right knee, hip, thigh comes parallel. Staying with your breath. Next stage, right fingertips to right knee. As you draw the femur in, helping your knee out to the right. As you move, you'll want to draw the femur in even more. Feel that movement, that drawing in from your low belly, creating even more strength. Stability, range of motion comes from strength and stability. So if you build that, no matter what stage you're at, that will come with time. Exhaling, come back to center, lower foot if it was still lifted. And if you're at all like me, often a full breath cycle before you take the other side is very helpful in balance postures. So please join me. Take a full breath in and a full breath out before we take the other side. Lift your gaze, shifting weight, opposite knee lifts, thigh comes parallel. This might be your stage today. Let your breathing deep and full guide you. Next stage, left fingertips to left knee. As you draw the femur in, you can open the knee to the left. This is another stage. And if you go to a stage and you notice your breathing shift, just come back. Just because you go there, you're not committed. Honoring the quality of your breath. Exhaling, come back to center. Lower the foot back down. Another full deep breath in. Maybe a cleansing breath even out for you if you'd like a little reset. Bringing hands to your hips. Shift your weight to the left. Step back with your right foot 2.5 feet. Leave your hips moving towards the top of your mat. And a reminder here, you can take the right foot a little laterally for a more stable base. So if you step wide, it will give you a little more, a wider base is always more stable. I'll just say that. That's simple. Hands on your hips, lengthen your spine. Exhale, start to hinge and fold forward. Please allow for softness in the front knee. Just come about a quarter, third of the way, as long as your spine is long. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, drop from low belly, torso rises. So we'll move on our exhale. Inhale, lengthen with the crown of head towards the sky. Exhaling, hinging, folding forward. Again, maybe it's a quarter, a third, or halfway. Allow your spine to lengthen. Exhale, pressing through the sole of the back foot, torso rises. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling as you hinge at the front hip. This time, lower hands, thighs, shins are the ground, and you can allow your spine to round naturally as your head hangs heavy. Intense side stretch. And pressing through the sole of your back foot. Notice how gravity wants to draw you forward. So draw the femurs in and press through the sole of the back foot. Create stability in your low body. As you breathe in, lengthen your spine, exhaling. Head heavy. Fingertips to the mat. If they're not there already, you can bend your knee a little more if you need to bring fingertips to the mat. Drop from low belly. Let your spine lengthen. And then walk fingertips forward, coming to the toes of your back foot. Remember, everything I offer is a stage. Staying with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Lift from low belly. Back leg lifts. Warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3. Even if your toes stay on the mat, can you stay with the rise and the fall of your breathing? Saying to yourself silently, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, lowering leg down. If it's lifted, hands to the mat, ground through the sole of the back foot. So make sure you feel stable in the low body. Inhale, hands to hips, lift from low belly. Lead with your heart as torso rises. Coming to the toes of your back foot, press off on an exhale up into standing. Notice the stability in your low body as you draw in towards center. Your hands can be on your hips. Inhale, shift weight. Exhaling, opposite foot steps back to 2.5 feet. Again, notice if you need a little wider stance as you step back to create stability. I personally do that pretty often. Your hands are on your hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinging. Come about a third, quarter, halfway, wherever you can fold and still have a long spine. Exhale, drop from low belly, torso rises. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Notice strength down the back leg as you draw the front femur in. Exhale, draw back up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. As you hinge forward this time, hands to thighs, shins. Exhaling, your level, head heavy. Your spine will find a little natural round as you take this intense side stretch. Please bend the front knee from a micro bend to a pretty significant bend to give you space in the back of your legs. Breathing in, stay very present with your breathing, breathing out. And if your fingertips aren't already to the mat, bend the front knee enough so that your fingertips can come there. Walking hands forward, inhale, come to the toes of your back foot. Use your exhale to lift from low belly, back leg lifts. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Any stage, and a reminder, even the leg lift is a stage I'm offering. If your breathing's not deep and full, please keep your foot on the mat. Even coming back a stage until your breathing is deep and full, and then move forward. Breathing in, breathing out silently to yourself, no matter what happens. If leg is lifted, mindfully lower that back down to the mat. Walking hands back, grounding through the sole of your back foot. So notice the stability as you draw in towards center. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhaling, lifting from low belly. Lead with your heart. Coming to toes of back foot. Exhale, step up into standing. The top of your mat, please bring your hands to the space of your low belly. And close your eyes softly. And check in with the quality of your breath. Say to yourself silently, breathing in, breathing out. As you softly open your eyes, lift your gaze, bring hands to your hips. Really staying with the practice of naming your breath. You'll shift your weight to the right, bend the left knee, hip thigh comes parallel. Feel a lift from inner thigh, especially on your supporting leg. Next stage is you inhale, exhaling, crossing left ankle over right thigh, knee comes out wide. And this might be your stage. Perhaps the stage before is. Inhale, draw the femurs in. Exhaling, if leg is crossed, begin to bend at the supporting knee. Sit hips back for one-legged powerful pose. Everything I'm offering you is an option, a stage really. And only moving forward, if your breath is deep and full, is much more difficult than pushing to a different stage. So I really applaud all of you in the room. I can tell you're staying with your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Unwind from wherever you are. Return to standing. A deep, full breath in. And a deep, full breath out. Let it go. Come back to your breathing. Stay right in this moment. If your eyes happen to close there, to draw your attention inward, open them, set your gaze. Let it be soft and lifted. As you shift weight, bending left thigh, or left hip rather, and knee, thigh comes parallel. We'll take the other side. Allow this side to be as if it was brand new. It could be totally different. Breathing in, lengthening, draw the femurs in. Next stage, crossing right ankle over left thigh, knee comes out wide. As you draw even more in towards center, scoop tailbone, exhaling, breath deep and full. You'll bend the supporting knee, sit hips back for Ekapada Utkatasana. This is great for focus, concentration. And of course, in any of these stages, you will notice strengthening and stability of your low body. Attention on your breath. From wherever you are, please return back to Tadasana mindfully, unwinding or just returning the foot to the mat. Hands are at your sides. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, sweep arms up and overhead. Exhaling, hinging at hips, fold forward. Allow knees to be soft. As you drop, lengthen your spine and step back into downward facing dog. Allow your sit bones to move back behind you. Weight shifting towards the heels. Inhale, high to toes, lightly lower your knees to the mat, round between your shoulder blades. Exhaling, send your hips back in the direction of your heels. Inhale, draw in towards center, come back up to all fours, turn toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, move, exhale, move. Chakravarkrasana, just a few cycles. It's all fours, downward facing dog, all fours, and child's pose. This is a really beautiful place to reconnect with your breathing. If you've lost it at any point in class, you can always start new. All fours, exhaling, hips back and up, downward facing dog. And we'll meet in all fours. So you feel your shins, tops of your feet moving towards the mat. If you're still moving, there's no rush, staying with your breath. palms spread wide. And take your feet to either side of your hips. Come on to seated on your mat. So I know Dee will help with this if there's anyone in the room, but if to demonstrate, I don't know if we do, but if just in case, but if you are sitting high on your sit bones, if you're someone that has a low back sensation, you can always roll up the back of your mat to prop your hips just a little bit to give you a little more space. Your legs are extended out in front of you. Let your hands be at your sides, Dandasana staff pose. Notice the whole length of the lower body in contact with the mat. As you lift from low belly, relax the tops of your shoulders. Breathing in. Lengthen your spine, exhaling, start to hinge and fold forward. A reminder, you can bend your knees here in Dandasana, and I would encourage you to bend them as much as you do in a standing forward fold. So you can't see it right now, but my bend is pretty significant in a forward fold, so feel free. Let your hands be at your sides. You can walk fingertips forward a little. Feel a lift from low belly to draw the femurs in even more. Breathing in, lengthening your spine. Exhaling, drop from low belly, torso rises. And then bending at your knees, feet to the mat. Exhaling, draw the soles of your feet together. Let your knees come out wide for bound angle, Baddha Konasana. Your hands can be at feet, ankles or calves. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhaling, start to hinge and fold forward. Draw the femurs in towards center. Notice how this creates stability in the hips, low back, lengthening along your spine. Even as you fold forward, please allow your gaze to be slightly lifted out towards the top of your mat, even as chin draws in. So there's length in the back of your neck. Keep your attention on your breathing all the way through. Exhale, drop from low belly. Your torso will rise. And then shifting your hips, or rather actually bend your knees, bring feet to the mat, and then shift your hips forward, turning around so the crown of your head is up towards the top of your mat. Even this, can you keep with your breathing? Like an inhale, move, exhale, move as you turn around. And using hands, palms, come all the way down onto your back. Allow your spine to be supported by the mat, head heavy. Bring your attention to the soles of your feet. As you inhale, press your feet into the mat just a little bit. Notice if that changes the strength in your low body. Inhale, scoop tailbone, exhaling, hips lift up into bridge, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Coming high to toes, wave-like motion as you exhale, roll your way back down. Please allow your neck, shoulders to be soft. Inhale, scoop tailbone, hips lift. Exhaling, high to toes, roll your way back down. Can you approach this with a little more ease? So you scoop tailbone, hips lift, lengthening your spine as you lift your hips. Exhaling, roll your way back down. A little more fluidity, staying with your breath. One more full cycle. Lifting your hips, exhaling, lowering back down, and then feel your spine settle on the mat, hips heavy. Drawing knees in towards your chest. Stay with your breathing. Hands can come to shins, knees. Notice here how the low back presses down towards the mat and how supportive and stable that can feel. Taking your hands to your sides, extend feet up towards the sky. Soles of feet point towards the ceiling. And here, gravity will draw your femurs naturally a little more in towards your hips, creating more stability and strength in your low body. Deepening and lengthening your breath. Say to yourself silently, breathing in and breathing out. Relax neck, throat, and jaw. Inhaling, draw knees in towards your chest. Take your arms out shoulder level if they're not there already, and have your palms face down. So if I'd look at you from above, you'd almost be in the shape of a T. Knees draw in towards chest, exhaling, take your knees to the right. So as you draw the knees up towards your upper arm, exhaling, notice a lengthening in your low back. Reminder to twist as far as your breathing stays deep and full. So even here, your breath guides the stage that's right for you. Drop from low belly, inhale, come back to center. And then taking your knees to the other side, allow this side to be different. To follow your breathing, saying to yourself silently, breathing in as you inhale and breathing out as you exhale. Initiating from low belly, inhale, knees come back to center. Now, as your knees are in towards your chest, exhaling, reaching for your feet, take knees wide for happy baby. You can stay still or perhaps a gentle rock from one side to the other. Drawing in towards your breathing just a little bit more. Head is relaxed on the mat. Inhale. Draw the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to come out wide for Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. Let this be a little soft, but feel supported as you breathe by the ground beneath you, a lengthening along your spine. You relax your neck and shoulders just a little bit more. As you release feet, bring feet to the mat. Then take your feet about mat distance apart as you lift and spread toes, creating the stability in your feet, ankles, lower legs. Breathing in, exhale, take both knees to the right. We'll come to the inside and outside of your feet. So keep the feet really engaged even as you come to the side. Notice the range of motion in your hips. Inhale from low belly, knees come back up. And then other side, both knees move, keeping your feet active. Lift and spread toes. Just notice how you feel. And coming back up, knees towards the sky. And begin to extend your legs out the long length of your mat. For Shavasana, your hands will be at your sides, palms facing up. If you have an eye pillow near you, you could reach for that mindfully. And a reminder, you can always take a bent knee variation with your feet about mat distance, knees in towards each other. Let yourself fully arrive here. A deep breath in, a cleansing breath out. Relax the soles of your feet. Feel your legs growing heavy on the mat. As you draw your attention up the length of your spine, feel each part of your body get a little heavier, softer. Hands and arms relax. Shoulders. Soften your neck and jaw. There's nowhere else you need to be, and there's nothing else you need to be doing. Just allow your attention to stay on the rise and the fall of your breath. If your mind moved away from your breathing, just with a lot of compassion, softness, draw your attention back to the rise and the fall of your breath. Begin to awaken your body, moving fingers and toes. Those movements will start to travel into your arms, your legs. Take your head to one side and then the other. As we transition, I'll encourage you to keep your eyes closed, bending at your knees, feet to the mat, knees moving in towards your chest. As you exhale, help yourself to the right side of your body. Take a full breath cycle on your side. Breathe in fully and breathe out fully. And using strength of hands, guide yourself up into seated. Your palms together at heart center. Anjali Mudra is where we'll meet. Behind closed eyes, let your gaze be lifted. Deep gratitude to my teacher for this opportunity to teach, and for each and every one of you in our school and online for your presence here this evening. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be at ease. Namaste. So if you have any questions about our New Year's Eve intention setting, a reminder you can connect with Gracie or Dee or one of our greeters. And I think Dee's handing out some wipes to all of you, Justin, Marie. Thank you so much for being here in our class from up north, from Ohio. And do book your classes in your Rasa Yoga app. I go in and schedule them a block at a time, and it's very helpful for making sure that you are present and accounted for your classes. So highly encourage that. Hope you all have a peaceful evening. I'm so glad you all were here. Thank you. Special shout out to Sandra for tech support, troubleshooting. Thank you, Sandra. Dee for assisting. If she's still in there, and if she might have left the space to help students.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you
It seemed
so
to
much.
work beautifully.
Good. We'll look back on this someday. Be like,
Yes.
remember when we did that one class?
Yes. Yes. Our first.
Yeah. Well, Sarah actually was the first and the brave to go first,
Yeah.
but we learn a little bit from each one, right?
We learn a little bit more. Yes.
Thank you for helping troubleshoot. Invaluable. I'm glad we got that done together.
Yeah. I'm always like, let's do that early.
Thank you for that push.
All right.